Well, you're doing computer science, right? You said computer science.
Yes, that's what I was
So
studying in
what
school.
was the why hospitality? Because I would have been thinking, okay, you would come up with maybe software coding or something, but then you
Okay.
thought about hospitality. What was that? What was that instinct?
So we almost got scammed from the guy. Like, so there was this guy that we met at the lodge. He just saw, like, he knew, like, this one's like
This
newbies.
was a newbie.
So he just called us
JJCs.
like, "Oh, hi, are you looking for a room? The available room." Actually, we picked the room. Funny enough, and I was like, "Yeah, so it's time to make payments. Here's my account number." And we're like, "Okay, me, I really wanted to pay because I don't have any place to stay. I
Yeah.
have to,
And you're already stranded. You were
yeah,
tired of the
get."
whole thing.
So I was like, "Okay," I told my guy, like, "Okay, let's go to the bank, take his number, go to the bank." So as we were leaving the lodge, like, so they like this notice board at the entrance. I just looked at it like, okay, yeah. Then I saw a different account number.
Wow.
Then the name on the account number was the name on the lodge. And I looked like, this guy, this is different.
It
Like,
doesn't tally.
yeah, and this not, you are not the owner of this, this hostel. And the guy was like, I'm the president. I was like, okay, makes sense. I just left. I took a picture of that account
Yeah.
number. Then I left. Then I, told my cousin about it. He called the number we saw on the
Yeah.
notice board. I'm like, oh, it's a different person. And the landlord is not even around. To be fair, the person that in charge of the hostel wasn't also around. So we had to wait in school. The guy to come. Then we
Yeah.
went back again to see him. And then from that day, I never saw the other guy ever again in my life. And so, you know, I then realized, when I got to school and I had made friends, so many of them got scammed.
The same issue that you
Yeah,
had.
like I had.
Wow.
And so it was like a normalized problem. It was like they're not comparing suffering, like, oh, okay, you stayed just 2 days for a family. You might look for a hostel for like one week or 1 month. I'm like, you guys are bragging on suffering to find a hostel. But then that's how we started, right? But this was the 100 level when it
Yeah.
happened. I didn't have building on 200 level.
This is Tech Build Africa. My name is Emmanuel Michael Amogu, and I know you've been seeing me on Tech Rounds. And this time around, we're doing something different. This time around, we're bringing a different type of conversation to your screen. And this is the maiden edition of the Founders Fireside Chat. It's going to be very, very interesting. So, we're looking at the intricacies and the ordeals of having a startup in the Nigerian ecosystem. I mean, it's not easy. We're bringing this conversation to your screen, and we will be doing this time to time. And I have a very interesting guest with me in the studio here, a very handsome man here, and he is also a founder. Talking of no other person than Davidson. So, hi, Davidson. How are you doing today? Good to have you in the studio.
Hi, Emmanuel. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Really excited to have this conversation with you guys. It's been a long time.
All right. Thank you very much, Davidson. Great to have you here on the platform. Just like I said earlier, this is the Founders Fireside Chat, and it's going to be a conversation around founding in Nigeria. Okay, we when you talk about startups, it's not really like normal business, so to say. This is all about innovation, bringing a peculiar solution to the environment and to the society. See how you can solve some peculiar problems, and that's what startup founding is all about. So, I'll just give us a brief insight about Davidson before he actually gets to do that. So, Davidson is a product manager interested in using technology to provide access to affordable housing. He is the founder and CEO of Hostel.ng, a property technology startup that uses hostels to create access to affordable housing for millions of young people. So, Davidson was nominated as one of Anambra State's 30 under 35 CEOs and won the TVC Labs Accelerator Program by Tommy Davies in 2021. So we are seeing someone with a lot of value here. Let me take you back to when we had our conversation over the phone. I know I mistook your your startup for hotels.ng,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's actually hostels.ng. So I
Yeah.
think it's good to hear from the horse's mouth. So Davidson, tell us about you.
So like you said, the product manager, like, it's like I'm many things for startup, depending on what I'm speaking to. So sometimes I'm the CEO, sometimes I'm the founder, sometimes I'm the product manager, sometimes I'm the strategy person. But the idea is my job is to make sure like that the startup succeeds in
Yeah.
wherever form, and you know, most importantly, solve the problem effectively for the people we're trying to serve. So yeah, I studied computer science in from Nanda University. Then I went to had like a quick executive course at LBS
Okay.
after that, and then immediately after that, I then went to Nigeria University of Technology and Management for like the postgraduate course as well, which is like much more centered around entrepreneurship, management,
Yeah.
technology. So now I am all this while I've been building Hostel.ng, to be honest. I started building it when I was in the university,
Wow.
so
What level?
200
But
level.
you're doing computer science, right? You said computer science.
Yes, that's what I was
So
studying in
what
school.
was the why hospitality? Because I I would have been thinking, okay, you would come up with maybe software coding or something, but then you
Okay.
thought about hospitality. What was that? What was that instinct?
So story is a bit funny because so when I was getting to the university, right, I stumbled across this movie about Mark Zuckerberg social network.
Okay.
So I felt, beautiful going to school. Okay, I'm getting into my own university. I could do something like that. So I like tell my guys then like, oh, I was gonna build something like Facebook. I was gonna build something like that. So when I got into university, my school was in Anambra State, but I lived in Lagos.
Yeah.
So when I traveled for the first time to school, I had no place to stay for the few days I would do registration. So that was my first encounter with the housing challenge because I've never really had any. I don't really leave the house, when I was younger. So after that, I finally found a place to stay. I squatted with someone for like 3 days. Then I then went to do after restrictions. Now I had to look for a proper house for
Yeah.
the rest of the sessions. So I and my cousin was my roommate in school then. So we did the trekking and everything. So when we now found a place to stay, right, we were about to make payment, but we almost got scammed from the guy. Like, so there was this guy that we met at the lodge. He just saw, like, he knew, like, this one's at a
This
newbies.
was our newbies.
So he
JJCs.
just called us, like, oh, hi, are you looking for a room? The available room. Actually, we picked the room, funny enough. And I was like, yeah, so it's time to make payments. Here's my account number. And we're like, okay, me, I really wanted to pay because I don't have any place to stay. I
Yeah.
have to,
And you're already stranded. You were
yeah,
tired of the
get.
whole thing.
So I was like, okay, I told my guy, like, okay, let's go to the bank, take his number. So we're going to the bank. So as we were leaving the lodge, like, so there's like this notice board at the entrance. I just looked at it like, okay, what is here? Then I saw a different account number.
Wow.
Then the name on the account number was the name on the lodge. And I looked like this guy. This is different.
It
Like,
doesn't tally.
yeah, and this not you are not the owner of this, this hostel. And the guy was like, I'm the president. I was like, okay, makes sense. I just I just left. I took a picture of that account
Yeah.
number, then I left. Then I, told my cousin about it. We called the number we saw on the
Yeah.
notice board. I was like, oh, it's a different person. And the landlord is not even around. To be fair, the person that in charge of the hostel wasn't even also around. So we had to wait in school for the guy to come. Then we
Yeah.
went back again to see him. And then from that day I never saw the other guy ever again in my life. And so, you know, I then realized, when I got into school and I had made friends, so many of them got scammed, really.
This same issue that you
Yeah,
had.
like I had.
Wow.
And so it was like a normalized problem. People like they're not comparing suffering like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you stayed just 2 days before I found a room. I look for a hostel for like one week or 1 month. I'm like, you guys are bragging on suffering to find a hostel. But then that's how we started, right? But this was the 100 level when this
Yeah.
happened. I didn't start building out to 200 level,
Okay.
right? So and okay, well, I want to build something. I don't have any tech skill. I couldn't do code or program, So I said, okay, I'm gonna learn. Then there was like an ASU strike. So no, before then, right? I was like just ideating around the idea, like, okay, what
Yeah.
can I do? If somebody meets me for a room, what are the processes like? What the website look like? Blah blah blah. Then we went on strike. Then I go home. I got stuck at some point because there was a problem I couldn't quite figure. And I was like, oh, this is not for me. After all, do that was not build
Yeah.
hostels, I be solve hostel problem. Me, I want to do like follow the path of Africa. So, weirdly enough, the school I went, so I went another. So I have a lot of schools. I was just trying to learn many things. So they did this computer institute called New Horizons.
Okay.
So they had like a branch in
Do they
Surulere.
still exist now?
Yeah, New
Okay.
Horizons. Yeah. So they have like a branch in Surulere, and so during the strike, my mom was like, you can't really stay at home doing anything, just find a school. And I thought that okay, I wanted to learn computer program coding. That was like web development at the time. So I went to New Horizons. Now my instructor, you know, fun fact, my instructor at New Horizons is my current co-founder. But how we got to meet was, during classes one day like that. He was like my set of students, like my classmates that he
Yeah.
was taking at the time. He said he was just in tantrums like, you guys are laziest,
Set
unserious,
that he's ever
like
seen.
people don't care about anything. Try to teach, over time they'll pick up side projects you'll be doing, but you guys are just chilling. Your parents will come and pick you after school, you go home, you come back again, rinse and repeat. So in that process, right, he was not calling solutions like product that some of his students have built. So like, oh, I had a student name this, she built this, and now she's doing this. Another guy, he saw this problem, and that's how he moved to the hostel problem. And it was like, so in universities now, too many students don't have a place to stay. They find it difficult to find a place to
And that
stay.
struck you because you had that
Yeah,
problem.
in mind, and I've already, I've kept it one side,
Yeah.
and then that problem that got me stuck, that exact same problem that got me stuck. He just casually just said, like, for example, this can be a problem you're trying to solve this. But this is the solution to this. Like, what is stopping you from?
From doing it.
And I was like, okay, something's happening.
Yeah.
I just took my pen and paper and just started writing whatever I was saying. So when it was done, that was on the 8th of August. I know I can't forget that date because that was the day I started coding
Oh.
for Hostel.ng because I was already learning from him. So I was like,
Oh. Awesome.
okay, as I'm learning this, I have a
I can
project I'm
apply it
building.
here. Good.
Exactly. So that was sort of how it started, funny enough. And when I kicked off, right, said building, again, it was only me. I had some friends that are already quite good coding, and I asked them to come join me. Obviously, they say no, like, bro, what are you doing? They're very crazy. This doesn't even make sense. It doesn't work in Nigeria. It only works in the US or
Yeah.
something. And then him, so when I said developing, obviously I will have errors, bugs. So there was no GitHub at the time, or I didn't know there was GitHub. So I couldn't quite like connect him to just view
Yeah.
my
To get
code.
the solutions.
So what I was doing was I would download my source code and send it to him. And so he would download it again, view it, then correct it, send it back
Send it
again.
back to
That's
you.
sort of how we were doing it. And over time, right, he got to see that I wasn't stopping. No, I had time. I didn't have any responsibilities. I just said like, look, I want to solve a problem. And this is what I was just open minded about it, really, which I think, in hindsight, because compared to how hard it is to build a startup, if I had known, I might not have gotten into it. but in hindsight, I'm actually quite grateful that he was the one that sort of
Yeah.
like taught me that.
I think I'm even more intrigued that you saw a problem, you saw a need in that particular ecosystem, the university,
Yeah,
that people were stuck on trying to get accommodation. They
yeah,
had issue with accommodation, and then you were almost scammed. And then you also looked at the fact that there are other students that would have been scammed or had already fallen for the scam,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
now you're trying to bring a solution. And I think that was the breadth of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hostel.ng. If you ask me, not even at the point where this man had said those things to you in the class,
Okay.
because at that point you felt the issue firsthand, and it was registered in your mind. So when what he said actually came up, that was like, okay, I think I need to
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah,
work on
yeah,
this.
yeah.
So I mean, that's
True.
amazing. I believe that every brand, every product has a starting point, has a story behind it. So even when people are making their pitches, I'm like, okay, there is always a story behind it, and people key into these stories. And even if they want to invest or they want to like collaborate or something, they're always very, very factual. So I really connect to these, as far as I'm also a Nigerian student who had a fair share of struggling to find a place to stay. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, of course, it was
What
terrible. I
university? What
schooled in
university?
ABSU, Abia
Oh,
State
okay. I'm
University. I studied mass communication, and it was not actually easy trying to get a place to, because you see people come to claim where they don't even have. Okay, all right, thank you very much. So the next question was I think it was why you considered being a founder, but I think you've said that already, and
Yeah.
then you were trying to follow the path of Mark Zuckerberg, and but okay, I wanted to also ask, why hospitality? you've also answered that. So we'll just move ahead to the next question, which has been, so what has been the key milestone and turning point in the journey of Hostel.ng?
I would say it comes in bits and pieces. So what I
Okay.
mean is, the point where I feel like if I look back, the dots connect
Yeah.
based off on either people I've met, places I've been to, or how lucky I've just been in some cases, in some instances. I mean, no's are constant almost every time. Like rejections comes most frequently.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody that wants to build something will not. You have to adapt to it. I'm not saying like you accept it, but you
Yeah.
just have to adapt that at times that you want to do something, it won't happen. But if I look back, I would say, it's just been people that, okay, let me give an example. Right. So I met my co-founder's name is Fola at CTO currently, and we built something, and then knows in terms of applications to all these accelerators and stuff.
Yeah.
Long series of those. The first years we got was in 2020. That was, and funny enough, at the time I was not planning to give up because I felt I was building to solve a problem in my school, just my department, my school area. But when we got the first years, that was Lagos Novate
Yeah.
from LSATF. The person in charge then was Miss Dawson, Fanny Dada, and she was very supportive. So when I got the first years, to my guys like, come and see you. It's like these people are whining me because it was very fast. Lagos of it wasn't really like a funding stuff, but it was like an idea hub where
Yeah.
they reshaped the whole thing we've done, and they paired with a mentor that is successful.
Wow.
So I was paired with Odin winning of PE Best, and again I didn't believe that too because I was like, guy, guy, this is a scam, bro. Like, what do you mean? Like,
How did that get here?
like how did like just like that easy? And then we had the first session, consistent. Then Odun sort of like had we always had like team mentorship
Yeah.
sessions, and she helped reshape. There are some things she told us then that honestly we didn't understand because we're still new.
Mm.
But now that we have we're moved into, we're like,
You
yeah, she
have
was
that
actually
understanding.
making
Yeah.
sense. Like that's what we should have been doing. But we didn't understand the depth of what she was saying because she's like very experienced.
Mm.
Also,
We're
there's
just
something she will
starting
say
off.
that we can't
Yeah.
relate
You're like,
to, and we're like, okay, let me just jot it down, sha.
they say that whatever a wise man sees sitting down, that even if a child climbs the top of the Iroko tree, you
Yeah,
might
when you
not
said,
even
I
see or
mean,
understand.
that's like a good representation of what happened. Because now I'm like, okay, well, she was saying really
Yeah.
solid stuff, and thank God I jotted them down. Anyways, so now if for example, events like that, then from Lagos Innovates, then we moved to TVC Lab. That was Tommy Davis as well. Even Tommy Davis, how I got to meet him was
Did
also
you
very.
raise funds after that?
Yeah, we raised some money from
Okay.
TVC. TD helped us.
No.
We're still even currently fundraising for like a new product,
Wow.
but I'll get to there to that point. So, if I tell you how I met TD, for example, now it's really weird. So, a friend of mine sent me like a list of some investors, maybe like an Excel sheet, African-based
Wow.
VCs, angels, maybe 300, 400, that list. And I was like, okay, well, he got this from someone. Yeah, looking for money. Like,
This is your
reach out.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, just try a lot. And I reached out to every one of them, like
Wow.
personalized email. So I was like one by one,
Yeah.
like this. So I got like out of the whole 400, maybe I got like 20 responses back,
Responses. Ooh.
right? And then out of the 20, 10 no's, clear no's. Then say the remaining 10, like five were like set a meeting.
Yeah.
So, spoke to a few of them. Many of them ended up being no's as well because they're like, oh, you're too early. You've not even completed your products, blah, blah, blah. The remaining five were like, uh, send us updates, blah, blah, blah. Then TD's own was, he didn't reply or read it, but his PA did.
Okay.
And his PA was like, okay, there's this program we're doing, and I will send I'll just copy it in
Yeah.
the email, and TD likes it, you just get enrolled inside, just like that. So I was like, okay. And then she did it like, so from there, from the email, TD was like, okay. answer this question, there was a series of questions to get into the long questions. But it is very thorough. So it's like long, long, long.
To
After
scrutinize
everything,
everything.
after everything, like, so we were like, okay, well, okay, that's good. These guys come. So now we're going to TVC Labs. Now TVC Lab gives us another access again to a lot of you know successful people like investors or angels. And TVC is like this is like this brainchild where he's trying to give back to the community of
Yeah.
like ecosystem. So not only does he train mentors, he also supports. And so we went through the program, did quite well, won the pitch, won everything, blah blah blah. So like, oh okay, these guys are good. I can't forget how we won when the way TD shouted like to like Mr. Okafor, Davidson, you guys are like you've done it again. I'm like, okay. And I was in school then, no matter I was in final year.
Wow.
So so when we got in now, so TD was like, okay, he's going to take us into advisory. So he has like a syndicate as well
Okay.
separately where they invest also. But before he invests his own strategy, before he invests in anything, he must go. You must go through advisory.
Okay.
So advisory is like not only like guiding you on
Yeah.
decisions, it's also a way of him knowing the
You're not
founders
making the
themselves.
wrong decisions, get to
Yeah,
know you more and everything.
yeah, exactly. So we got into that, went through that advisory. Then from there, he then invested in us. And then that was when. So funny enough, when he was after final year, we were then pivot into a different part of the product. So originally, we wanted to help students find accommodation. That didn't quite work. The reason why it didn't work, not because there was no problem, but it didn't have any strong business case. Like maybe someone wants to do it for like social impact,
Mm.
non-profit. You can,
Yeah. Can run
but
that.
to make money from it, students are not really willing to pay you anything. They don't even have money to pay you for your services. So what we ended up seeing happening was students use us, get hostels, they'll bypass our cuts, right? We
Mm.
tried front freighting. So what I mean by that is we tried charging up front, didn't work.
Okay.
We tried charging in the back where, okay, we give you the real price. You go to the hostel, we have like an agreement with the hostel managers, then they pay us back. It also didn't work. The hostel managers were not honest enough to pay us our cut.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, where the beauty is, where the life. Let it just do. Whenever the hosting finish,
Still.
it's gone. Right. But then we then pivoted before then, like, oh, we saw another problem. Like, students can't pay us. How about we help make students earn money so they can pay us?
Okay.
And so we then started iterating with this idea of turning hostels into like an Airbnb apartment of some sort. So it's like,
Okay.
oh, you have a room, you stay off campus, let another person use your room and they pay you for it. Right. And then we facilitate that
Oh, that's
transaction.
awesome.
So I did that in the final. That was like last night, did before I graduated. So like, at first we didn't have a product for it. I was like, guys, let's not even build anything. No. It might not work. So we'll not waste our time. So I tried using just three tools like WhatsApp, Google Drive, Excel. So I reached out on WhatsApp. I had a guy that was quite popular in school then. So he just put it on the WhatsApp status. Oh, if you need a place to stay for like 3K a day, chat
Can reach
this
out.
number.
Yeah.
Right. Then you post another separate status and say, well, if you have a room and you want to make money like 3K a day, chat this number. The same number.
And people do have these issues on campus, so there is
Exactly.
no way. So it's, I think it's basically around providing solutions to problems, because there is
Yeah.
no how. Okay, one of my mentors would always say, Dr. Emere would say, the more solution you provide, or the more value you provide, the more money comes to you. So there's no way you would offer value and someone is in need of that thing, and he
And they will not
sees
pay
that,
for it.
okay, even if I pay this money for this, I'm going to get this value. Definitely they will go for it.
True. I
Yeah.
believe that.
And I'm very much amazed at how you sent like those 400 mails. You know,
It
it's
took
easy
a
for
while
someone
though.
could just, one thing is to have access to information,
Yeah.
and one thing is to act on it. Number one, it's not even easy to have information, because they will say information is power, and the Nigerian society will say, who know go no no, or something like that. Or
Who
if you
knows
don't
no
have,
go no.
yeah, if you don't have access to information, you might just be wondering. So you had access to that information and you acted upon it. So 400 mails. I don't know how many days it took you to send all of those mails though.
Maybe like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, but that was the intention there, and I mean you got everything. That's pretty amazing. That's
Thank you.
amazing. Yeah, you've told us when you decided to have a startup and how it went. So has there been any points where you're like, God, why did I start this thing?
Every
Or
time,
is this
every
a time
day,
to
bro.
stop?
Like,
Or can I just go back to a regular job or just do something else? So
uh,
those are doubting points.
Yes, every time. It happens every time. Like it's like you know, it's like a reality check. But then you then go back to your why. You're like, okay, why did I start this? Okay, this is why I started. I can't really stop. Then you go back again to doing it. So it's not like although I don't get doubts or I don't have needs of my own
Yeah.
or I don't want to flex, get a
Yeah.
job, a very paying job and be safe. But when those doubts come, it's a thing where I reflect on why did I start this thing? I'm like, okay, I know why I started. I have to see it to the end. Then I have a team now, you know, and they're like people that we're building this thing together.
Yeah.
They also want it to succeed.
People that believe in you.
They've put in efforts
Mm.
as well. So you're like, now if I stop, I'm going to like just mess up all their plans. It's like I'm not really ready to do that. It has to be that I do. So I just have this simple principle where, like for me personally, person, I am quite bullheaded. Bullheaded. So what that means is I only commit to things I believe in.
Mm.
So you wouldn't see me doing so many things
Yeah.
at the same time because I only try to put my heart into things that I believe
Put your
is
money where
worth
your
it.
your mouth is.
You get. And so once I commit to something, I will see to the end. So
Okay.
it's a thing where now I then see it as I've started this and I believe in this, I'm going to be if it doesn't work, right? If it fails, for example, I'll be the one to turn off the lights. I'll be the last person standing like, okay, well, everybody's gone now. That's finished. And
Yeah.
RIP off the light and move on. You
Move
get.
on with life.
So that's kind of like how I am. So I still keep on moving because I know that sometimes when my guys ask me, "Oh, how are you doing?" I will just reply, "I'm alive." And so what
Hmm.
that means to me is like, as far as I'm alive, there's hope. We're still alive.
Yeah.
We're still moving. Money still
I
there.
think
Small money, but
it's
we're
more
still moving.
about being propelled by vision. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
you see what you're trying to build. You see the future of what you're doing. And then
yeah.
it's just about, okay, bringing in other people to buy into that vision, to share that vision. Because sometimes it can be hard. Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg was not able to share the vision of what he had about Facebook or Meta with his friends. That would be very tough. So, as a
Hmm.
founder, I think it's also about being able to sell that vision to even your investors.
True, true. I'm on. Investors, bro. Oh, man. Where I come from is like, I didn't really have access to so many things. Neither do I know people that are like in those spaces.
Yeah,
So building in Anambra was quite hard, which I'm really lucky. And funny enough, Lagos Innovate has been very supportive, by the way, of like what we're doing. So it's meant to be like focused on Lagos. But how we got in, I don't really get, but because we were based in Anambra at the
yeah,
time. But from then to now, is like they're very big on startups that
yeah,
they support genuinely.
yeah.
And, it's in Anambra at the time, I didn't know any
Think
startup
you're speaking. I
community.
think right now Anambra is supporting the ecosystem much now, and we have the everything technology mantra, and then with
Hmm,
CFA Chukuma Bata championing the whole thing. I think it's
hmm,
and there's now like a kind of a linkage that relationship with the Lagos ecosystem, trying to see how Anambra startups can do like build
hmm.
that ecosystem. Yeah, there's been
Yeah,
some
that would be
efforts to
great. Like
yeah
the
to do
only thing I
that.
heard of then when I said I was in school was there's this thing they call startups South.
South, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a bit known.
Mm.
We didn't, but even when I was in school, I didn't even know any.
Oh.
Maybe it's just me that was.
Awesome. Then speaking of this difficulty, so let's go to the macro level now, building a startup in Nigeria. Do you think Nigeria is a favorable environment to build a startup? And now look
Hmm,
at the state of the economy. Everything is like is dwindling, and the economy is not doing so well. And just this week, I think this week we saw allegedly like that Microsoft is
yeah, yeah,
leaving
living the
the
country.
leaving the country, and you know what that means. And a
Yeah,
lot of the guys that work for Microsoft, how the impact and then the job losses and everything. So do you think Nigeria is favorable for startup building?
me, I'm always big Nigeria. I mean, maybe delusional. You might see it as delusional because something's happening, but I mean, I do believe that I do believe it can work. I don't want to be that person that was just standing by when things were happening,
Yeah,
right? Maybe maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see any tunnel, so I can't say. But what I'm saying is maybe it's just like a rough patch. Maybe it's been dwindling for a long time, and then we get it right at some point, and
yeah.
it then becomes a positive.
Mm.
I really don't want to be that person that could have done something when it was
Or you
dwindling
didn't
and
do it.
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right. I want to be so again because I very bullheaded, and I believe in Nigeria. I mean, logically believe in
Nigeria,
Nigeria.
we healthy.
Logically, but
Okay.
I, I just, I believe that if this is a problem
Hmm.
that exists like currently, and it's a critical problem as you're affecting so many people, and you know, there might be a market for it, or there is a market for it. I don't want to be that person that, said I'm not what doing just because of what I see around. Right? It's in this same Nigeria that Paystack exited.
Yeah.
Like, see, Flutter is doing quite well, Piggyvest doing quite well, OmniBees is doing quite well. So many companies like that are doing quite well. The same,
Yeah.
Nigeria as it is.
Ecosystem, yeah.
So the least I can do is to try my best to solve a problem. If it doesn't work, I tried my best.
Yeah.
You get, but I don't want to be the one that would be criticizing and be like, I'm not really
More like
doing
if I
anything.
perish, I perish.
Yeah, I'm not going to perish, God, but yeah, I understand what you're saying, right? So I really, so that's how I see it, like building. So it's hard,
Yeah.
right? But the best companies are built during economic downtowns,
Hmm.
right? So
Tough times make tough people.
yeah, and tough times never last. Only tough
Hmm.
people do.
Yeah.
The idea is to build something now that I have the chance to, and I just might, be able to make it out the hood. Just might. So yeah, that's sort of like how I say it, and I believe it's gonna. I believe some people don't have the mind to. They can, it's fine to leave, it's fine to find a job, you know, but if you know why you started, just hold on to it.
Okay. So about the Nigerian startups now. So what do you think are the common issues that startups face? So we've looked at, okay, the environment is not so friendly, but then things can still be built in such environment. What do
Yeah,
you think are the common challenges that startups encounter while building in Nigeria?
I mean, from my perspective now, we don't have a lot of infrastructure to support. You know, when we say startup, sometimes well, startup majorly is like tech focused. So, meaning you're building tech solutions to real life problems. Now, the thing is, tech itself is built upon a physical infrastructure, right? If you are building a logistic company, say helping people easily access affordable logistic options, that can be a tech-based solution, which is great. So policies, there's some policies they've done that are great. There are some they've done that are not, very, very good. And so it's a thing where you just have to. I mean, they can do better. I won't lie, but from my standpoint, we've been supported by the government, the Lagos State government, a
Okay.
couple of times, which we're grateful for. And at the same time, we've seen startups that have been at the other end from the Lagos State government as well. So policy is a very like in fact politics itself is I think the most important job in the world.
Hmm.
Like the government decides so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I
Look at
think
when the whole recruiting new customer base for the fintechs in Nigeria, Kuda,
mm,
OPay, they had issue because of I think it was allegedly a crypto stuff, crypto issue. You said, okay, you can't take in new customers for now. So that was the
yeah, yeah,
government's
yeah,
yeah
the
decree or
policy.
something, and then
Yeah.
it barred them. So it just last week that I got a message from Kuda, okay, you can now start opening new accounts, and then there were also new kind of procedures and criteria to owning accounts to certain level. They now created tiers of accounts. So I think I'm just trying to reference the point that the government really policies can really shape how startups grow, and
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is a
yeah.
policy that can come up today and it would kill a startup at that point.
True. Many times when this policy just comes out, just like look at that guy had like they had a state governor do like a ceremony with them. I think like a launch
Yeah,
ceremony with them, and then quickly they got banned
because of
again.
vibes.
So see, it goes both ways, right? There are companies, startups that get on the good side, and there are some that are like on the bad side.
Yeah,
But ultimately, I think the goal of the you know the government would be to bring in when they make decisions like that, it's to sort of like bring in stakeholders, right?
yeah.
Bringing people that this
Who are
affects.
actually like key leaders in the ecosystem to say how
Yeah,
does this affect your ecosystem, or
exactly,
how do you think this can be
exactly. So
better?
that's why I think they can do
Yeah,
better.
help him.
Mm.
Imagine if there was a startup that goes around to see maybe in the real estate, okay, a standard house for a human person
Should be
is
like
supposed to be
this.
like this, and then if you
True.
make it so small,
Or maybe like even a fact checks, like so holding accountability to companies. Like if you use these guys, they don't really do these things very
yeah.
well. So you have to be careful.
Even
So
in the
just
food,
pointing it out.
some people produce like the food we eat. So I think there should even be a price check for like pricing, giving pricing for food, because you check why is this thing so expensive? You don't even spend so much to produce it, and
Mm,
then things just go up. I think they can really be like fact checking and stuff to all of this.
true.
We're even building a startup already in the studio. Are we not?
It's all right.
All right, all right. So
Uh,
the next thing is about partnership and community. For the facts, for many persons I've spoken to in the studio, one key concept that always uh comes up is partnership,
mm,
collaboration, and community. And for myself, I'm very much particular about community and
mm,
working with community, because I don't know, it's like part of my life, and because I believe that technology is for good, and if technology is for good, everyone should benefit, and it should serve the need for humanity. And then if it's serving the need for humanity, people should have access to whatever solution, to whatever innovation is being built out there. So I think that's where I see myself. So most of the times I see myself connecting visionaries. Okay, this person needs help with this thing, or this one has it. So I'm like, okay, I know someone that does this, or I know a community that would need this. So I try to do that most of the time. So what do you think about partnership and community in line with being a founder or
mm.
building an innovation?
Yeah, I think this is something that TD does very well. In fact, TD calls himself collaborator in chief
Who is
at
that?
TD, Tommy
Okay,
Davis,
okay, okay.
collaborator in chief at TVC Labs. So what that means is his job is to connect startups in his community together to
Yeah,
create, more propelling value propositions. And I do believe that because I believe for you to be really good at partnerships, you need to have access.
definitely.
You need to know what
I think he
exists.
was in London for London Tech Week
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, he
this
was.
week.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was. So and that is something I think many more experienced people say, what I mean by experience, I mean like more successful people in the ecosystem can do
yeah,
is being able to connect that, oh, this guy is doing this thing and this other guy needs this thing and they can work together.
yeah,
A can complement B, B can complement A, together they can do
yeah,
it. It might not actually be maybe an higher, just random normal
yeah,
partnerships that you get. And I think that is because for us, for example, with this our new product, we have existing partnerships that we wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't from higher people in the ecosystem.
yeah,
Like, oh, okay, you need this. I know someone that can help. And just from those conversations, we end up, being
yeah,
partners, right? And I think that's what happens. So, what that would do would be, it makes startups provide more compelling value propositions, and then it also means that there would be less, you know, less failures in this sense because
yeah,
now, these two startups are combine together to solve one particular problem,
yeah,
and then at the end of the day, they take whatever agreement split they get at
yeah,
the end of the day. So I think that's something really good. Then speaking of community, community also is very great for depth. Like so, there are some products you build that from your perspective you don't know what can be,
hmm.
but the people within the community, the actual
To
users,
build and with the feedbacks and everything.
yes, they
Yeah,
can help guide you to like what will be. So building community gives you that um third eye, if I put it like that,
like a
right?
sandbox.
Yeah, right. So you have like this, external third party that is not within the team, but also works for the betterment of
Yeah.
the company. So community can help you, properly well nurtured
All
community
right.
can help you,
All right,
create
thank you
solutions.
very much. Thank you very much. Speaking about communities too, we have our community Tech Build Africa. We have our channel, we have our chat community, and we've been sharing a lot of opportunities for innovators and startups, maybe funding or job opportunities, and also people that want to collaborate. So we someone could just come out, hey, I'm building on these. Is there anybody like there was a time someone was looking for a co-founder for an edtech solution. I had to
Mm,
okay, I have someone that is good in this. I had to share the number, and they tend to work out, and maybe job opportunities within the ecosystem. So I think it's always good to belong to one. So you can check on our website, Tech Build Africa. Just go below. There is a link to our community. You can also join that community. We might also drop a link to this on this session, so you could click on that and join our Tech Build Haven community for more opportunities. I mean, it's been wonderful. I even forgot to say that you can join the conversation by dropping your comment on the chat section wherever you're watching from, be it on LinkedIn or YouTube where we're streaming live. And yes, we also have this content again as a short form content for you to get this fact, because these insights here are very good. You could be the next best startup founder tomorrow by just watching this. So you see how we got his own inspiration from just listening to someone, and then he had to build on something that he already had in mind. Okay, so thank you very much for this session. And for the last one for the road. So definitely we've spoken about building and building and building and everything. So what do you do outside of just being a founder? Is that all of your life building?
um, so I don't know, work-life balance at this stage of my life, I don't think it exists. And I think about myself every time. But aside that, you know, I like football,
Oh,
so I can't play. But
okay. Man, you
well,
fan or Chelsea?
Chelsea now.
Chelsea. How can you
Uh,
be a? I don't
are you whining me?
because I think there is issue with buying the right players. So maybe you should organize other founders that are supporting Chelsea, because I don't know how they expended so much money,
They're building for the
billions,
future. They're building
for
for
the
the
future,
future.
and then
Yeah,
they have sold out the ones the future they were
trying and
building.
selling, they'll try. Doesn't work. Keep trying and keep trying until you get it now. Right?
It's become a trial balance.
So,
Okay.
I like football. I play games, video games.
Okay.
Um, I I like to travel, but that is depend on funds.
Okay.
So if you have money, you really don't want to travel and be
Yeah, you want to stay
inconvenient.
one place.
Yeah, you
Avoid
just
billing.
right. But yeah, aside all those things, I don't step out really like often. I'm just like an indoor person
Hmm.
doing. We're just always thinking about
Maybe I
myself.
just brought you out for the whole
Well, I
week.
mean, you did. You really did. Right. So if I do have meetings or I'm always looking for money, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
fundraise. So I'm going to this investor meetup, meet this person, blah blah blah. So aside all those ones, I'm in my
yeah.
house. Aside that,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so do you have any final words before we finally draw the curtain for this session?
I mean, I'm not a motivational speaker, so I would just I would just say like if you're doing anything, really just know your why, because when it gets really hard, like really really hard to the point of giving up, your why is what would shield you to keep going,
Yeah.
right? It's not like it's going to push you to keep going, but it just makes you to realize what you're doing, and then like, okay, I've not done it yet, so you have to keep going. Um, yeah, and as far as their life, there's still hope,
So
right? Crazy hope. I've had a series of luck, if I call it luck, where we've been at our last the time last 40K, and then just then,
something happened.
I think just then, well, yeah, that cases like that. So really don't stop.
So what how do you draw the line between discipline and motivation?
Mm.
Motivation, I see motivation as being spontaneous and random,
Mm-hmm.
but discipline has to be consistent. So how do you see that?
So discipline is no. Let me start with motivation.
Okay.
Motivation is a burst, just like
Yeah.
one time stuff, and it comes and it goes. Oh, you might be motivated
Like
this
a nitro
minute.
boost
Yeah,
in
you might be motivated
games.
this minute because of what you heard or what you saw,
Yeah.
and then you move. It stops and you keep on going. So discipline continues from motivation, but it's advisable to always be in the place of inspiration, because which means your environment, your surroundings, be intentional about where you are, what you listen to, because of inspiration has to you have to keep on keeping the fire. You have to keep the fire burning,
Yeah.
right? But discipline is about doing something consistently, even when it's very boring,
Mm.
right? So, like for example, being a startup founder now, I might get motivated when maybe I meet someone, somebody helps us with an
Yeah.
idea, or we get some funding for something, blah blah
You're
blah.
like
you're excited, like, oh, it's still day one, and keep moving. But discipline is the point where after all of those things have happened, when it's just you,
When the chips are
when
down.
yeah, like you have to keep on doing it when it's boring, right? You keep on sending those emails when nobody's listening, sending
Those
investor
400
updates
emails.
when nobody's you get it this right. You keep on speaking. I've never even talked about how hard it was trying to like get Hostel off the ground. They were for this our new product. I will show you here, right? When we were still doing research, I'll dress up, I'll go there, I'll tell them like, oh, I handle business there for this company. They're trying to build this, yeah, blah blah blah. And then I'll follow the bus drivers to load passengers inside just so that they can give me
Yeah.
insights to what they're trying to do or how their daily journey
Yeah,
or
it's
daily
going
life
on.
is. I need that information to help us to help guide what we're building. And so in periods like that, nobody sees you doing
Hmm.
those things. That is the period where discipline comes in. That is where you have to keep doing it, even though it's inconvenient,
No, people
boring.
only see you at the point where you're holding an award on the stage. Thank you very much.
Bruh.
I did this. I want to thank my team. But if we show you the backstage of what actually
Nobody really
happened, the real
sees.
work is not easy. You
Nobody
wouldn't
really
want to
sees
do
that.
it
You know.
if you were shown the picture of how you'll be doing this on the street. So
Yeah. So
thank you very much. Guys, it's been amazing on the Founders Fireside Chats. Yes, this session was with the great man here, Davidson Okafor.
thank
Yeah.
you.
So
Thank you
thank you
for
very
having me.
much. The man from hostels.ng, not hotel,
Hostel.
hostels.ng. So we'll have this replay over time. And please follow us on all our social media handles at TechBuild Africa, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram, Meta, that's Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter, now X. And then please subscribe to our YouTube. Okay. We have these sessions that will be coming your way over time. So thank you very much. I think it was a great convo. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I loved
Yeah.
it. Like, thank you so much for
Thank you
having me.
very
Thanks
much.
everyone for
So,
listening
guys,
as
so
well.
catch you next time. Next time, we would have another founder who would join us in the studio for another interesting session on the Founders Fireside Chat. So, before we skedaddle, I'll just echo my name again to you. They could call me the digital nomad or the connector of visionaries, but you can just call me Emmanuel Amogo. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.